Welcome to the second part of our first marketing lesson, where we were talking about services marketing, traditional and contemporary marketing mixes. The agenda is to talk about the differences between products and services, a theoretical concept of the marketing mix, and then I will give you an introduction to your group wikis. The definition for the marketing mix is that it is a set of tools, and it also should be treated as a set of tools, as no element can stand alone. They must all support each other, and if they conflict, target markets will be confused and objectives will not be met. So the traditional marketing mix was focused on a product, so a tangible good that can be sold to the customers, which means that as part of the marketing mix, the product is the features and appearances of goods and services. So, for example, a different set of tables, TVs, shelves, clothing, things like that. So very tangible, very visible, and you can see it. The price obviously is how much the customer is going to pay for the product and might be willing to pay for product as well. The place is the point where products are made available to customers. So is it the shop? Where is the shop? What does it look like? Stuff like that. And then the promotion is how customers are informed about the product. Now, if we go back to the definition, all these four elements of the marketing mix, the original 4 Ps, have to slot in with each other. They have to work with each other. Otherwise, as it says in the definition, the target markets will get confused and you won't achieve your business objectives. Now, nowadays, or as we saw before, since the 1980s, there has been a big focus on services and services marketing. Now, the thing with services, unlike products, they are intangible. You can't touch them. I can touch a computer, but I can't touch a holiday. So a service, as Kotler and Armstrong defined it, is an activity or benefit that one party can offer to another that is essentially intangible, so not physical, and does not result in the ownership of anything. So you can't own a holiday. Well, yeah, you can have the memories of the holiday, you can have the pictures, but you can't own a holiday. Customer service, aftercare, when you buy a car, for example, you can't own that service. You get it, but you don't own it. And Palmer said it's the production of an essentially intangible benefit, either in its own right or as a part of a tangible product. So, for example, a warranty, which through some form of exchange satisfies an identified need. So you might get a sticker that says, or a bit of paper that says, this car has a 3-year warranty, or this washing machine has a 3-year warranty. But obviously the provision of the service, if something goes wrong, you can't see. But you have this physical bit of paper that tells you about the warranties. Also, Palmer said, which I quite like, it's anything that cannot be dropped on your foot. So a service, whereas a product you can basically hurt yourself with, or you can break it. A service you can't. It can be a combination of goods and services. So, a loan facility attached to a car purchase, set warranties, helplines, additional customer service, things like that. But there are obviously grey areas as well. So what is a meal out? Is it a service or is it a product or is it both? Quite a good question. Because if you have a great meal but you don't like the customer service, you don't like your waiter, what do? You come back? You might have a really bad meal but a good waiter. So how do you, what is it a product? Is it a service? So because you've got again 2 elements there. Okay, characteristics of services, as we said before, they're intangible, so they're not physical. So how do you promote them? So if you think about a holiday, yeah, you do it via a brochure, for example. Holiday brochure obviously tells you the nicest bit of the of the holiday, but how much is it actually going to tell you. Inseparability, so you have to be there, the consumer has to be there to be able to consume the service. Yeah, so you have to go on holiday, you have to actually enjoy the service. You have to sit on a plane to be able to sort of enjoy the seat on the plane, the flight. Not all services are the same. Also, not everyone perceives the service as the same. Okay, someone can have a good day and you have a really good service or a really good holiday and you really enjoy it. Someone might not like, you then recommend it to a friend and it's not their cup of tea and they are not enjoying it. So again, or one day your customer service advisor has an off day, so maybe the service provision isn't the same one, and you can't store it, so it's perishable. So again, if you think about hotel rooms, if you think about seats on a flight, if you can't sell bed space on a Monday, you can't just sell these beds on a Tuesday. That bed space is gone. Same with the seats on a plane. If you don't have a full plane on Monday, you can't just chuck an additional 50 people on a plane on a Tuesday when the plane is full just to make up for the seats you didn't sell on a Monday. So it's lost. It's difficult to compare again. How do you? What are your parameters? How do you compare service? Difficult to return. Obviously, you can complain. And potentially based on the reputation of one person. And then what was, it's your opinion that the service is good, but as I said before, someone else might think it's not a very good service. And then now, if you look at the product versus services marketing mix, there are different ones. So, for example, Neil Borden has the 11 elements of the marketing mix. McCarthy 4Ps, which is the original 4Ps we talked about before. Booms and Bittner have the 7 Ps of marketing. This is where we're going to talk about in a minute, which is all about the service marketing. 4 Cs of marketing and the 7 Ps and the 1 C of relationship marketing mix. And now you might be able to know what the 1 C is, which is, we are going to go through these now. So if you look at the 11 elements of the marketing mix, is that Borden believes is that an executive is a mix of ingredients who sometimes follows a recipe as he goes along, sometimes adapts the recipe to the ingredients immediately available, and sometimes experiments with or invents ingredients no one else has tried. So for him, these elements and the way you mix these elements are the product, planning, pricing, branding, packaging, displays, advertising, distribution channels, personal selling, servicing, physical handling, and fact-finding analysis. So these are all the ingredients you need in order to have a good marketing mix. Now, this wasn't 1949, so this is a very thorough mix. And if you think, once we've gone through all of these, you will see that even with the 7 Ps and everything else, it's all included in all the other marketing mixes as well. McCarthy came out with the 4 Ps of marketing, which are the initial 4 Ps. And here it's very product oriented. So it's the product, the price, the place, and promotion. And if you think of the 1960s, it's all very much about manufacturing and engineering and having your tangible goods. And also, it's obviously for the mass market approach. And as it says, one mix fits all. So it's very basic. So your product is obviously what you're selling. Your price, again, as we said before, is what you're selling it for, what your customer is willing to pay. Place is where you sell it, and your promotion is how you get it to your customers. So if you think about your product, it's the mix and the range. So what range is offered? Your product portfolio. Do you just offer one thing, or do you offer different things as well? So and again, it looks at the long-term profitability. the features, benefits, and also product development. Is it new product development? Do you have to be innovative? Do you have to adjust the product? And diversification of the product range. So if you look at Virgin, if you look at Tesco's, for example, as well, I mean, they are the kings of diversification and offering different products. The price is the value. How much is it worth? How much do you customers actually think it's worth? The cost, how much do you actually pay to produce it? Does it show quality? What does the price say? If the price is too low, people might think it's a cheap product and they might not buy it. If the price is too high, they think, oh, it's a luxury product, I can't really afford it. So again, you need to find the right way of pricing your product that it matches your quality. Managing demand. So, do I have to increase the price because there's maybe too much demand? Do I have to decrease the price because there's not enough demand? So again, it's all about price elasticity. And then again, do I have discounts and credit? The place, access, you have to see if people can actually get to it. Availability, how to get there, how can people get hold of it. Direct or indirect, so are you directly selling it to your customers, or do you have agents or intermediaries that are selling it for you? So are you just a producer and then you have got the wholesaler or retailer who gets it to your customers. Distribution system, so if you look at booking systems, and location marketing, so you look at branding, so that people actually recognize your brand. Promotion, again, does it cover your organizational objectives? Are you working towards those? Are you communicating the benefits? Again, recommendations, word of mouth is one of the most powerful marketing tools. Expectations, are you actually exceeding or meeting customers' expectations? And then you've got this overkill or oversell. Be careful, because if we as customers are annoyed by some sort of promotion or some certain advertising marketing message, we won't go there. So if you think of adverts at the moment that are really annoying you, and you said, oh, I'm not going to buy this product because this advert is really annoying me, this is what you have to be really very much aware of. And as I said, this is very much product oriented. Well, there are obviously limitations to the 4 Ps, and again, if you look at service versus product, its physical distribution is not always relevant to services. As we said, they're intangible, and therefore it fails to recognize intangibility for the services. The quality of service, difficult to define. How do we define it? And then for this reason, there have been more flexible alternatives in order to cover the marketing of services as well. And again, we said this before, the market is changing very quickly as well. So again, you need these alternatives. And this is where Booms and Bitnag came up with the 7 Ps of marketing. So in addition to the traditional 4 Ps, they extended the mix for the services and added people, processes, and physical evidence. Now, if we look at people, it deals with the employees. So you need to have the right employees for the job. You need to have the right person to deliver the service, to maybe sell a holiday. You maybe need to have the experience of a destination. You need to know about, flights, your rights, stuff like that. So you need to have someone who actually, people deal with them face to face. Who are, cheery, who've got good customer service skills as well. So you need the right person for the job. The processes are the systems that are being used to deliver the service. So for example, when you go to Burger King and you order a burger, you get it within 2 minutes. So that's a very quick service. You don't wait around for ages. And then the physical evidence is where is the service delivered. And it's also the judgment of an organization, how we perceive this organization that is delivering the service. So again, was the service quality good? Was it good customer service? Did people know the answers to my questions? Okay, now then you've got the 4 C's of the alternative marketing mix. Then, so what Lauterborn said is that rather than looking at the things from an organizational perspective, you also have to look at it from a consumer's perspective. And this is again where you've got your relationship and your customer relationship marketing in. So it looks at the customer's needs. So the product is the customer solution. Basically, the product is what the customer needs and wants. The price is obviously the cost to the customer, which is the second C. Place is the convenience. How convenient is it? How accessible is it for me? How easily can I get to the shop, to the place, to the location where it's being sold? And then the promotion is the communication. So in effect, it's the same thing. So what Lauterborn did, he looked at it from the consumer side and what consumers would think before buying a product. And then you've got the customer service and the marketing mix again in 1991, where the whole relationship marketing, customer relationship marketing comes in, and it all centers around customer service, which is you have your 7 Ps, but you also have your customer service central to those 7 Ps. And this is where the relationship marketing as a key concept comes in. And then if you look at the contemporary mixes, it's very well suited to services marketing, and it's not, the focus isn't on the tangible products. And as I said, there's the customers at the center. The customer is the most important bit of the whole marketing and on whatever the organization does. So, and again, it comes back to us being very fickle. To us, if we don't like one thing, we go somewhere else because, PCs, for example, or laptops, if I don't like Dell or Toshiba, I go to another company. Or if I don't like Microsoft, or if I don't like PCs, I might go and buy an Apple. Or yes, they're a bit more expensive, but maybe they know better what I want. They're more focused on what I want. So again, and it's all about building up networks, looking at your customers, your suppliers, your staff. So it's all about, again, everyone is integrated in this process. Long-term view. So, again, it's all about relationships. You want to retain your customers. You want to keep these customers. And cost-effective marketing. So, if you retain your customers and they know your product, you still have to put a marketing effort in there, but you don't have to be as aggressive. You might just send them an email every now and then. You might send them a little postcard to remind them that you're still there. They know you, they know how good you are, and and then they might then talk to their friends about you as well. And again, as we said before, it always comes back to word of mouth. It's very strong. It all comes back to social networking sites. The wall on Facebook is a very strong marketing tool. So where do all these fit in? So obviously you have to market, you have to plan. So you have to look at your organizational objectives. You've got to do audits. You have to, where do you position yourself? You have to do analysis. You've got to do research. And then with all this information you come up with a strategy, and then you apply this to your marketing mix. And then obviously you market yourself and everything. And then you have to implement and control. Monitoring and controlling is very important. Because again, what your objectives are, what your customers want, might change. And if you don't go with this, obviously your marketing mix is out of sync with at least 1 or 2 elements of your whole organization or of your whole being. So you have to look at where are we now, where are we going. So you look at your objectives. How will we get there? So again, that comes down to your strategy. What route shall we take? So what what are we going to do? How are we going to market ourselves? How do we get our product or service to the people? And how will we know when we get there? So again, this is your monitoring on control. You monitor your sales, you control where is it being sold. Is it in the shops? Is it online? Maybe you look at your regional sales as well. And then if you look at your hierarchy, obviously you look at your corporate goals, objectives. What is the company aiming for? Then what are your marketing objectives? Do you want to increase market share? Do you want to make sure that you stay where you are? So what have you got a new product and you want to bring this in the market? And then you look at your product, place, promotion and price and everything else. So if you look at the services, obviously you've got all your other marketing aspects there as well. And just some key features here within your marketing mix as well. Okay, so if you look at the product, you've got the features, you've got the range, additional services, branding, design, and packaging. If packaging doesn't appeal, people are not going to buy it. If the branding is off, people are not going to buy it. And branding is very difficult. I mean, if you look at Starbucks, for example, their brand is very strong. Their logo is very strong. They've got a very, very strong brand. Price, what's your price range? Do you offer economy and luxury, and then obviously something in the middle? What do you do? Discounts, allowances, credit policy. Is it, you buy 50% now and then your customers pay a certain amount every month? Price changes. The place and promotion, again, is it direct selling? Do you have agents to sell it? What's your stock control, delivery, transport, stuff like that? And what promotional tools are you going to use? Advertising? Do you have personal selling? PR is free normally. PR is great, especially if you're doing if it's good, obviously. And very often you get an editorial in a paper, and then you have a free advert attached to it. When I used to work at the University of Brighton, that's what we used to do. You write an editorial because an event had happened, and then you get a small advert as well. Sales promotion, direct marketing, and sponsorship. Sponsorship, you're really visible if you're sponsoring, I don't know, a marathon, for example. And then it comes all back to your corporate social responsibility, which we'll talk about later on. That's it for your marketing mix. There's a lot of stuff, again, there's a lot of information online there as well, and if you have any questions, as I said before, please ask me, and be online for the tutorials as well, and I'm more than willing to answer your questions. Now, next lesson, we talk about marketing research, competitor analysis, data and information, and then you market an environmental analysis. So you talk about PEST, SWOT, Porter's 5 forces. And then now what you have is a group workshop. I've set up wikis for you in lesson 1. And what I have done, and I will send you an email about this as well, I've divided you into 4 groups for 4 hospitality organizations: McDonald's, Pret a Manger, Small Independent Hotel, and the Ivy Restaurant in London. So what I want you to do is look at how often and when should the organizations collect data. How do they collect the data from? Who do they collect the data from? How would they use the data? And what are the data and information requirements? What I would say is that you do your research at home, and if you are on Amazon or on email with each other, please just chat with each other as well, but start populating the wiki with your ideas, and then start looking at the lesson. So I would say do this first before you actually start looking at lesson 2. And I will also be looking at your wikis and writing some comments for you as well.